Final Fantasy XIV has become one of the biggest MMORPGs to date. There are many contributing factors. One of them is that the game manages to do something that feels counter or even anathema to the structure of an MMORPG. The game lets you feel like a hero. In a game where thousands of people are playing, it's hard to make a single player feel special, but FF14 does this by centering its narrative around you. Your actions shape the narrative, and while there is no way to drastically alter the story, the narrative acknowledges everything you do. When the game's characters look back on the things you have done, it is as fond a memory to you as it is to them. This goes a long way in making you feel like a part of this world. The world changes because of your actions. And no place is this more evident than in the third expansion, Shadowbringers. The first dungeon, Holminister Switch, becomes a culmination of the first story arc of the game, exploring grief, loss, despair, vengeance, but also hope. Shadowbringers' story is so beloved that many Final Fantasy fans have claimed it as one of the best Final Fantasy games in recent years. Shadowbringers makes you feel like a hero by showing you the horrors of this world, how people cope and live with these horrors, then allows you to do something about it by changing the world in a dramatic, tangible way. From this point on, there will be spoilers for Final Fantasy XIV up to the Shadowbringers expansion. If you have any interest in JRPGs or MMORPGs, I highly recommend picking up the game for yourself. There is a free trial after all, which includes the entirety of A Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heavensward expansion up to level 60 with no restrictions on playtime. With that, let's throw wide the gates. As you arrive on the 13th, you make your way to the Crystarium, one of the last shelters for the people of Norvrot. Shadowbringers pulls no punches as early on you bear witness to the horrors of the Sin Eaters off camera. The existence of the Sin Eaters, as well as the horrific realization that this is a world of unending light, slowly builds up the dread of this otherwise bright and colorful world. It turns out the daytime makes just as good a setting for horror as the nighttime. Instead of the dark of the night heightening the fear of the unknown, the light of the day presents itself like an invasive species. It never gives you a moment peace and threatens to overwhelm everything. While the world is on the brink of extinction, the people of the Crystarium busy themselves with their day-to-day. Crafters are eager to put you to work. Any written record is a source of excitement to the librarians. There is a fierce optimism among the citizens of the Crystarium. They know how bad their situation is, but if the work they put in helps even a little, they are more than happy to do so. There is a fierce frontier spirit that reminds me of Mass Effect Andromeda. While that game has its issues, seeing everyone have an indefatigable hope for the future was refreshing to see for an RPG setting. Their earnestness was infectious, and you couldn't wait to get started on what was needed for the city. Given the mess you left behind in the source, it is a little bit refreshing to start over in a place where you were not lauded as some kind of hero. But first, you need to collect your friends, which lead us to Alphinaud and Alisaie. Through their stories, we get a more intimate look at how dire things have become. With Alphinaud, we find Eulmore, a disturbing foil to the Crystarium. In Eulmore, the rich and powerful seek to live out the rest of their days in comfort and vice. Everyone is desperate to be granted citizenship inside the city, often selling themselves to be servants to a patron. The decadence of Eulmore is only matched by the squalor of the settlements outside. The impoverished area houses all of the people desperate to be allowed inside the city. Eulmore makes a compelling argument. Under the protection of Lord Vothri, its residents need not fear the Sin Eaters anymore. The world has been destroyed. Why continue suffering over the little scrap that remains when you could wait for the inevitable in luxury? For that security and peace, its denizens give up everything and any atrocity is accepted and applauded, all for Vothri's paradise. With Alisaie, we get a much more intimate view of the dangers of this world. Anyone attacked by a Sin Eater is having their ether slowly corrupted. In time, they too will become a Sin Eater. But instead of abandoning the poor damned souls, Tesleen and the other caregivers take care of them. They provide comfort to the infected and brace themselves to do what needs to be done. When poisoning someone is the kinder option, there is a grim realization of how desperate the struggle is. Up to this point, the Sin Eaters have been this bright shadow that looms over the first. The danger that the Sin Eaters pose has just been implied or off camera so far. Then you are given a front row seat to the horror as you bear witness to Tesleen's brutal death and disturbing transformation. This is a fate far worse than death, and a very real possibility for the people of this world. This harrowing scene is referred to by the community as the Welcome to Shadowbringers moment, letting you know that this expansion will be very different from everything you have seen so far. Alphinaud and Alize are skilled adventurers in their own rights. They excel in many fields like combat, magic, politics, and arts. Despite all this, all that these two talented and determined prodigies can do is address the symptoms. In this world ravaged by light as if it was a cancer, the only thing the twins can do is change the sheets and adjust the pillows. There is so much suffering in Norvrant, and the two of them can only do so much. Eventually, the Light Warden attacks and the Crystarium is forced to respond. Holminister Switch is a roller coaster of emotions. You see people fleeing for their lives. Those who are unable to are turned into Sin Eaters that you have to put down. A dark reminder that every Sin Eater used to be a living creature in this doomed world. You are given your chance at revenge as you face the Sin Eater that killed Tesleen. As you move from the wooded areas to the pastures, you see homes ablaze and under siege. Your righteous fury is replaced with sorrow as you are forced to put down Tesleen.
It's never easy, ending a life you've cared for, even when you believe they go on to a better place. I often find myself wishing the Warrior of Darkness would come and do that part for me. Warrior of Darkness, servant of death, take care of our souls at our dying breath. Sinners and eaters of sin go with thee, that all may return to the sunless sea.
As you enter the town proper, the scope of what was lost becomes clear. So many homes and so many lives lost to the Sin Eaters. A tragic but familiar tale repeating for 100 years. Another grim reminder as you ascend to face the Light Warden. The Sin Eaters are horrifying in their design, and the Light Warden looks and fights like a boss that could be encountered in a survival horror game. There is a somberness and desperation in the fight. You have fought facsimiles of gods. You have fought dangerous dragons. You have fought against powerful empires. You have fought for peace, unity, and revolution. But in Shadowbringers, it feels like you are fighting just to survive the next day. The scene after the defeat of the Light Wardens is one of the most visually striking images in recent Final Fantasy. Reminded of the nature of the Light Wardens, you are not allowed to celebrate your victory. You must run away or else the Light Warden's corrupted ether will possess you, allowing it to be reborn. It is here where the Crystal Exarch finally tips his hand, revealing why the Exarch needed you specifically. The Warrior of Light, infused with the Blessing of Light from Hydaelyn. The blessing has been spent, but that still leaves you, the vessel capable of containing powerful light ether. The corrupted light enters you but is unable to corrupt your ether. Instead, you take the power of the Light Warden for your own. Up to this point, the only sky that was available to you is the sickly yellow glow from the clouds that bring about endless light. And now, with the power of the Light Warden, you banish the clouds, revealing the night sky, the first time in 100 years. The people in the Crystarium are finally given a reprieve from the endless light. They are unable to comprehend the night sky, but they are also unable to look away. The people of the Crystarium live in fear of the Sin Eaters. In spite of that, they have found purpose in their lives through work and service. They cling on to whatever small hope gets them through the day. But now your actions have made a real tangible difference to this world. Now you have given them the greatest hope they could ask for. The Light Wardens can be killed. The Warrior of Darkness has come. There is an end of their suffering under the Sin Eaters. It is a hope as real as the night sky they now bear witness to. Thanks for watching. I've been wanting to do some FF14 videos for a while now. The game is fascinating to me for a variety of reasons, from its infamous comeback story to its variety of endgame content to how it handled suffering from success due to the influx of new players. FF14 has rewritten the rules of MMORPGs, so I might have one or two other videos on FF14 in the immediate future. If this interests you, consider subscribing. Until our paths cross again, see you, Traveler.